didn't give me this joy, so I won't let them take it away. God's covered me in His grace, His grace, His grace. His grace and mercy covers me daily. And I know that He'll never fail me, no. He'll never leave me or forsake me. And because of that, Lord, I will. Trials may come and break you, but Jesus, He wants to make you, renew you, and He wants to recreate you, then put you in a better situation, to level up and make you super saints. Call Him Superman, cause He wants to save your day. Don't get discouraged if things don't go your way, cause at the end of the day, there's only one way, and His way's the right way. There's no other way around it. You may be going through, but don't forget, you gotta rejoice through it.
Hey, 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 good evening, everybody. It's your girl, Tamika Hall. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. And I am super excited to be here. What a great way to return. What a great way to kick off 2021, then 5 days of self-love. So welcome, everyone. Do me a favor. Please share out this broadcast because you're getting ready to meet some of the number one international bestsellers of the book, I Am More Than Enough. Listen, I just want to give a special shout out to Talasia. That was her song, Rejoice. Now, all week long, we are going to be profiling some dope women. So I'm going to be featuring some really great music from dope women from all over the world. Some of the women are actually going to be they're actually going to be some of the authors that are from here as well. So I'm really you all are here. Tonight's the first night of 5 evenings where we are going to be just tapping into what it means to really love yourself, right? So I started this project back in November. And, God kind of gave me the vision to put together an anthology and to bring women together. And we actually have women that are from all over the globe. Like we have authors from Japan and everything that are part of this project. And they were brave enough to share their testimonies of, when they finally looked at themselves in the mirror and decided to say, you know what, I choose to be enough. And now I know that I am more than enough. So I'm really excited. I'm going to quickly bring to the stage our ladies very quickly. How many times can you say quickly in the same sentence? I mean, if anybody's going to say quickly, it's going to be me. Hi, Shaquan. Hi, Cassandra.
Hello, how
Hello.
are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited that you two are here. You guys are kicking off the very first day. So, folks, we have Shaquan Hoke here. We have Cassandra McCray that is here, and we're getting ready to get started. Are y'all feeling good about tonight?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Good. 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 So, Cassandra, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you back in the green room.
Okay.
Y'all, we have a green room. Honey, we have a green room, honey. So it's just you and I, Shaquan. And I really appreciate you just being part of this project. And so tonight, you're going to be talking to us about love yourself naturally. So I'm really excited to just hear from you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready? You're ready? All right, here we go. Go ahead, Shaquan. I'm gonna jump out of the frame so that you can do your thing.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to have this opportunity to talk to each and every one of you this evening. I want to talk about loving yourself naturally. What does that look like for you? A lot of times we have this preconception of ourselves really based off of what someone else told us. It could have been, recently, from a spouse, from a relative, or even as early as your childhood. And so I want to dispel those things that we've told ourselves over and over again that we always seem to pick at and find flaws in. And I'm going to use myself as an example for let's talk about hair, which is a big thing. I'm going to just use that as an example. Hair is such a major and dominant part of women's lives, especially women of color. And a lot of times we're judged based on how our hair is styled, the color of our hair, and the texture of our hair. Now, some things we were just born with. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you when I was little, I remember looking at commercials with women with their hair blowing and flowing in the wind. And I was like, well, my hair, it doesn't do that. So I would like sometimes try to imagine what it would be like for my hair to kind of flow that way and everything. And I realized that came from somewhere. Why did I feel like I wasn't enough just because I didn't have that looser texture, finer texture hair? What was it that made me feel like I needed to be extra and do something more to myself because I wasn't happy with what I have? Huh? I realized that my hair did not grow straight down. It grew up and coiled all around. And so it took me a long time for me to realize that, you know, this is the way that my hair grows out of my scalp. And there's certain characteristics that I really love about it. So this is step number one I want you to take into consideration when it comes to loving yourself naturally. Find that one thing that and focus in on it that you simply love about yourself, that is natural, that you don't have to do anything to it, but you just look in the mirror and be like, girl, you got it going on. You are perfect in every way. I want you to focus on that part. Every one of us has that one part, or maybe a couple more, but I don't want you to focus on the things that you may not like about yourself, but focus on the things that you do. For example, um, some of you may love the way you may have very nice sculpted arms, or you may like the way that you're shaped, or you may love your nice even complexion. You may love your eyes, eyes. Find the thing that you simply love about yourself and talk life to you. Speak life to you. It takes a daily interaction for us to love ourselves naturally, because the world is constantly showing us how we are not enough by showing us different things to make us change how we were made, or how we look, when all actuality you are great just how you are. And that's why I love this anthology. I am more than enough. Because we spent so much time focusing on the things that we don't like about ourselves, that we feel like we have to turn and morph into this whole different person. But you don't have to do that. I want you to take a moment and just look at yourself in the mirror. Look how beautiful you are. You are wonderfully made. And I want you to remember that. Two, I want you to look at the things that you have and the people that you have in your life. So that's step 2 and 3. By loving yourself naturally, that means that if you choose to add something onto your beauty, then guess what? That just enhances what's already there. But you can be just fine without it, because you are beautiful and wonderfully made. Find out those key areas that you simply love. And for some of you, you know what? It may take a little while to get used to seeing yourself in a natural state. I can relate. It took me years to be able to accept my hair in its natural state. I would try to do all types of things to it. Like, I would put braids in it, I would put twists in it, I colored it, I cut it. Then when I cut it, I added more hair on it after a while because I got tired of that. I used to wear like so many different units and everything. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to switch up your look a little bit. However, your core self is naturally you. And it came to a moment in time that when I went on my lock journey, I struggled with the natural fuzziness, coily, curly, textured hair that I have. And so I'm sure some of you can relate, some of you ladies especially can relate. Like, how many times have you, if you went too long without putting a perm in your hair, or getting braids in your hair, or just letting your hair just be free? Like, oh my gosh, I got to do something to my hair. Oh my gosh, I got to do something to my hair. And sometimes it doesn't come from you, it came from other people judging you. But I'm just telling you here tonight, you are beautiful and wonderfully made. You are more than enough. It's great to have options, but you're fabulous without it. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Hall.
Listen. And I wasn't rushing you. I thought you were cueing me in, because you were like, Tamika, you're more than enough. And I was just like, I am. Thanks. and that was awesome. And you know what? For me, my self-esteem really was tied a lot to my hair too. So I know exactly what you're saying. And, I have some really close friends who know a couple years ago, I actually locked my hair and I ended up locking my hair. Whew, at this point, I haven't had locks. I think it's been about 2 years now. It's something like that. It's been about 2 years, but I blocked my hair because due to stress, I had bald spots all throughout my hair. I mean, bald down to the scalp. And I just could not, my hair just would not grow. So, just out of frustration, I ended up locking my hair. And that's when I really did start to fall in love with the natural side of who I was. So it's amazing how something like locking your hair will do that. What made you decide to lock your hair?
Well, I was frustrated with always getting anxiety around the time where it would have to be for me to do something, quote unquote, to it
Yes.
because it was in its natural state. And
Mm,
I would hear the comments, oh, when are you going to do your hair? What are you going to do to it now? Oh, it's wash day. That meant that it was like literally the day, the washing, the detangling, have to braid it up, to blow dry it, and then let it out, and then try to flat iron. OMG,
mm-hmm.
all day. I don't have time for that.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I just, I grew up a military kid. So I spent most of my young life um, living in where I was maybe one of six Black children in the whole entire building. And so, them seeing me walk around with my hair in beads, that wasn't considered necessarily beautiful. Or it was, what was the name of that movie? You remember Crooklyn? Did you ever see that movie, Crooklyn?
I
So in the movie, though, in the
sort of.
movie, the young girl ended up having braids and beads and stuff. And she went to visit her aunt, who was like really bougie. And this is like one of the funniest parts of the movie to me. And her aunt was like, "Oh, look at you with your hair, with your braids and beads and things. What do you call that?" And her mom was like, "Braids." You know what I mean? So that was so funny to me because that was actually kind of like my experience, growing up, where either people were like, "Why don't you ever wear your hair out?" Or they always wanted to put their hands in my hair.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I just kind of grew up not feeling like my hair was beautiful. And it was not until I locked my hair that I began to really love it in its natural state. So okay, I'm gonna ask you this before we push on and ask Cassandra, bring Cassandra on. Do you have an issue with people calling them dreadlocks?
Hmm. At first, because I do examine words, words are very powerful.
Yes.
And I understand where the word comes from. But if you look at the definition, dread, that means it's something it has a negative connotation to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, me personally, I prefer locks,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? I prefer locks
Me
because
too.
I feel like there's nothing dreadful about my hair or anyone else's hair that chose to lock their hair in this state and then just maintain it and let it grow. And there's different types, of course, but yeah, when you hear to some people saying that their dread is like, oh, dreadful, like
Right. Oh, now you've known me for a really long time, so I'm really dramatic, and that was me. I would be like, "There's nothing dreadful about my hair.
right,
Like, I'm so extra," but I was really serious. I was like, "What is wrong with you people? Like, there's nothing dreadful. These are locks. That's all they are."
right.
Okay, last question.
And then put a swing to it.
It would, child. Yeah, if anybody was gonna swing their hair, it was me. I definitely had my swing going on. What is the dumbest thing somebody has ever said to you about your locks? Like a question, comment. What's the dumbest thing that you've heard so
Okay,
far?
so this wasn't said directly to me, but I've heard it said to
Yes,
other people. Uh, do you wash your hair?
girl.
I'm like, good night.
Come on. Right.
Good night. Right.
I remember.
And it's funny you asked that
Yeah,
question because I was told that, well, how are you going to get a job with your hair that way? And I'm like, first of all, who said that I wanted a job?
come on. I employ myself. What First of all, let's just go there. Let's just go there. I am a boss. Like,
Right.
go Shaquan. Yes. Shaquan said, I'm a boss, honey. I'm a boss, babe. Don't be asking me where I'm getting a job at. I know that's
Right. How about you ask me about getting contracts now?
Ooh,
Now we can have a discussion.
absolutely. And it's amazing. So I would get this question from Black folks all the time. And they would ask me, how long are you gonna keep your hair like that?
Mm.
And I'm like, so
Mm-hmm.
when I was wearing my wigs and my weave, and of course y'all know I'll do anything to my hair now. But there's a different feel about if I put some weave in my hair or I put a wig on my head or whatever. It's just different. Like my identity is not tied to that anymore. And I was able to come out of that because I'd been locked. I was locked for about 4 years. But Black folks would ask that, and I was like, so when I was wearing wigs, you never asked me how long I was going to wear a wig.
Right.
You
Exactly.
never asked me how long I was gonna continue to put weave in my hair. I
Mm-hmm.
just felt like it's just such a rude question. And it's really
Yeah,
not.
like there's something wrong with me wearing my hair the way it grows out of my scalp. But
Yeah,
when I wear something that's not,
more European.
natural, then
Yeah,
you have no problem with me walking out of the house one day with red, then doing it again with brown, then another day with black.
or
Like you don't
green,
really have
lime
anything to
green,
say about
yellow,
that.
orange. Nobody cares. Like they are
Hmm.
so fine with that. They're fine with that. So, thank you so much for just being brave and sharing your story. And I understand you have your own anthology that is coming out. Talk to us about that.
Yes. Well, my anthology that's in process right now. It's called Rising Crowns of Glory. And I'm so excited that I have some ladies already on board. I still have openings for those of you who aspire to be new authors, and if you're already an author. The whole premise of the book is, about loving yourself from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. And, how does that look for you? You get a chance to share your story with others and how that relates to you. So I'm very, very excited for that. And also to have the famous, infamous
Oh
Dr.
Lord.
Tamika Hall as my mentor, is
Oh, thank
helping
you.
me to shape and, make sure that everything is on point. I'm just so excited for this
Oh yeah.
opportunity.
Yes, yes, yes. We have to put out great stuff because there's nothing dreadful about what we're doing.
Hello,
Absolutely.
somebody.
And then for folks, we really want everybody to support the two authors that are here. And so you actually can buy the paperback from them directly. So Shaquan, how can people purchase I Am More Than Enough directly from you?
You can definitely go to my website. It's beyondajob.net. Beyondajob.net.
Beyondajob.net. Well, Shaquan, I really enjoyed having you here. Love yourself naturally. That is what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So listen, if you could do something for me, if you have the time, can you hang out in our little green room while we continue with our celebration of 5 days of self-love? And I definitely appreciate you just being here. So listen, folks, I'm getting ready to bring Cassandra McCray to the virtual stage. I met Cassandra a couple of years ago now. And Cassandra came to me always a connector, always pouring into other people. And so I'm really excited to just welcome her to the stage of 5 days of self-love. Cassandra, how you doing tonight?
I am doing good, Dr. Hall. How are you?
I'm doing so well. I love this color on you, by the way. That's beautiful. What's that, like a burnt orange?
I'll take it. I'll take that.
You're so funny. And your hair, honey, listen, I'm enjoying this. That's pretty.
I really enjoyed Shaquan's segment because I've been natural since 2003.
Have you?
I can literally cut my hair off. I did the big chop last year, right
Yeah,
before the shutdown, and my hair is
it
so
grows.
my hair grows fast.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I love it. So listen, tonight you're about to talk to us about the fire in prosperity.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to bring you to the stage. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready? All right, folks, listen, I'm about to jump out of the way so that Cassandra and the Lord can have their way, because I already know Cassandra. Yeah, Cassandra, don't get preaching over in there. Okay. So listen, guys, Cassandra, I just got to say this. Cassandra wanted to make sure that she had the top-notch Wi-Fi and all that stuff. She was on the road today. Wasn't going to get back home in time. So Cassandra was like, we are not going to miss this moment. She went to a hotel, was like, listen, I am an honors reward holder. And so they gave her space. Don't get preaching in there. You're going to scare people.
Baby, we gonna if the Holy Spirit show up, we just gonna let it do what it do.
Raise your hand. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and move out of the way, folks. This is Cassandra McCray with The Fire in Prosperity.
Yes, The Fire in Prosperity. First of all, I want to thank all that are watching and all those that have purchased the book, the ebook. I just want to share with you a little bit about the fire in the prosperity. And I'm going to read just a segment, a little snippet from my contribution to the book. And then I'm going to talk about a lot of things that resonated with me with Cicely Tyson, the passing of her, the beautiful legacy of Cicely Tyson, and how it reflected a lot of her things that she talked about reflected in my life. Okay. So just a little snippet of the fire. My chapter in the book is entitled The Shattered Glass. But tonight I want to talk to you about the fire in prosperity. I'm going to read the portion of my chapter that is entitled The Mosaic Artwork. Development in stages is anything takes time. Not seeking perfection, but becoming effective and purposeful. Many understood what was taking place, while others doubted me, denied my gifts, concurred with the doctor's report. But all the while, God was showing me who He had created and knew the plans of my life before I was formed in my mother's womb. Yes, when the glass fell, I lost everything to only gain it all. All the pain from childhood throughout my adulthood meant something. It led me here. Yes, the high temperatures are uncomfortable. Yes, my family didn't understand it, but I had given God my yes. This new journey led me back to a place I had left 17 years earlier, the place where the majority of my pain was originated. Tonight, let's talk about the fire in the prosperity. And I was looking at a video. I was looking at the Oprah Winfrey interview with Cicely Tyson, and I hope that you can view that as well. And I want to take some things that she shared in that interview, how it reflected in my life, and I'm sure you, as a black woman, also how it reflects to you in your life. I'm gonna call her my dear Cicely. That's because she's just so dear to me. She reminds me so much of my mother's aunt, the physique, the neatness, how she carried herself. So I'm gonna call her my dear Cicely. My dear Cicely, she determined her purpose was to do all she could to alter the narrative about Black people, to change the way Black women in particular were perceived by reflecting our dignity. And in her book that's entitled Just As I Am, and just like the previous, my sister author Shaquan just spoke of, about one is the misconceived conception about our hair. A lot of times we find ourselves not wanting to connect to our natural self because we're so afraid of the stigma of others. Well, many of you know that Cassandra has done all types of hair, and I just never allowed that to be an intimidation. But I like when my dear Cicely said that her purpose was to shed that, help get rid of that stigma that a lot of Black women have relating to our dignity. And then the next thing she talks about the pain behind the prosperity. And this is where I get the fire and the prosperity from. This is very, very important. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Roots with her in it, but this is what was so powerful. And it resonated with me in my story. She says in her scene in the Roots where she gives birth to Kenta, she shares with Oprah during this interview that the heating lamps that was being used to heat the huts was burning her back. She felt like her back was on fire. If you ever had a menopause, a hot flash, or whatever, if you ever was born in the country and you would stand behind those heaters and the heat from those heaters would just scorch the back of your legs. But my dear Cicely said that she felt a heat, like it was like a fire on her back. And with her being allergic to heat and allergic to the sun, um, it caused her back to swell. And prophetically, that was like, we carry so much on our back. We carry so much of stuff on our backs. We carry the heat of the world on our backs. So in this scene, she's trying, because she only has this one scene in this movie, and she's birthing Kenta Kute. And she says the heat from the lamps allowed her to really pull off this scene. She says that it was in that moment that she could give all that she had to give birth in that scene, because it was the pain of those lamps that helped push her. So tonight I want to share with you, do not think that the fires are there to destroy you. It's in the fire that brings out prosperity. Amen. So Dr. Halls told me not to get on here and preach, but I just want to share with you that in the fire is prosperity. We know the story of the 3 Hebrew boys as they went through the fiery furnace, and they came out with nothing, no smitten or nothing. And that's how we should also consider ourselves. And then she talks about leaving a legacy. She talked about this lady waiting 30 years to get a gold watch. She said she wanted to buy her own watch. She said she knew her worth. She said she was not going to be at one place for 30 years just to get a gold watch. And that's where I want you to come and to understand that you are more than enough. You're more than enough to know that whatever gift God has given you, you're more than enough. You don't have to stay on a person's job for 30 years. You are more than enough and more capable of being your own entrepreneur. And because it's not about what you're getting, your gift is to bless others. So I love that when she said that. She says, I want to get to the point where I want to buy my own gold watch. I don't want to wait 30 years on nobody's job to get something that I can buy myself today. So that's what I want you to understand. Don't wait. Don't wait on a job. Don't wait on somebody else to gift you your gold watch. You do what you have to do to get your own gold watch. If that's one of your goals, is to get your gold watch. I know when we leave the state, they give us the insignia pins and we get to plaques, but those plaques can't tell the story. The plaques can't tell the story of all that we had to endure through those 25 years of high risk, or those 35 years of non-high risk employees, being in the 35 years of teaching somebody's children. You can't get that in a plaque, but you can create your own legacy. You can create your own legacy. And then she says, knowing that you're more than enough, Miss Tyson would pick roles that she felt right within her. She mentions one day receiving a script from a director, and she goes on to say that she read a few pages and it made her sick. I want to pause right there because a lot of us sometimes we settle for stuff. We instead of us taking a moment to look at it, we get in the fire and we get settled. No, you don't have to settle. If you don't get that feeling, if it's not a good feeling, if it doesn't feel like the spirit has confirmed it, let it go. Because guess what? Your no will give God a yes later on. I'm telling you, it's some things and some situations that I have been in personally that when I said, you know what, I knew I didn't supposed to did that, but I did it anyway. And then she says, don't allow the guilt lie. She says the guilt lies in their innocence. And what that is saying is there will be others that don't know who you are because they have not made a conscious decision to stay in their, they have made a conscious decision to stay in their own world. Even being there for decades doesn't exempt them from gaining truth and becoming aware of the now. You got some people that wants to still live in Leviticus. Let them live in Leviticus because, hey, I serve a God in Jesus Christ that was born way before Leviticus. Okay, He was there in the beginning. But you got some mindsets of people, especially with what we're going through in today's society. They're still stuck in the 50s. Their mindsets are still stuck there. So what do we have to do as a people or as to maintain your dignity that when you get ready to leave this world, they can say, you know what? She held her crown. She had to adjust it a couple times, but she stood her ground. She held her crown. She held her position. She maintained integrity. She maintained her dignity. She did not allow society and their ignorance to define who she was. And then she says she has profited more from the negative than the positive, the negative experiences. She believed that by using the negative experiences, and if you survive it, you have been elevated to another level. That right there is deep because we have all have a testimony. If God brought us to it, God brought us through it. And I hate to sound cliche. I do. I really do. But this one, dear Cicely says that the negative experiences, those fires, yes, those fires, it's in the fires that's getting ready for us to be elevated to the next level. Oh my God. It takes more proof, it takes strength, it takes more confidence, and it enriches our lives, she said. She says, if you survived it, you are just that more stronger and more richer. And you're in touch with what God's purpose is for you. And when she said that, I was like, where we usually take our positive and say, hey, I made it. Take your negatives and build upon those. Says, you know what? I was down. I was down for a minute, but I ain't gonna stay down because I'm climbing up. I'm getting in the word. I'm getting around people that can help grow me. Yeah, that's the thing. Too many people have that crab mentality. You're around the wrong people that can't help you grow spiritually and surely can't help you grow financially. And then she says, stop allowing yourself to get validated. We got the likes, we got the clicks, we got the numbers on social media. Stop allowing that to be your validation. She says, for years we had to get to know them to survive, and they never had to know us. And that's so true in today's society. We're still trying to prove our worthiness, even through our hair. We're still trying to prove our worthiness, even as we have our first VP woman of color. We are still trying to make sure that we survive it. Again, Sister Tyson says that we're always learning them but they never try to learn us. But so don't allow them to validate you. The things that they think of you or think of us any less, don't allow that to be your validation. You know who you are. And then she says, be your own trailblazer. She says, don't let adversity stop you, but let it empower you. Let it be your fuel to exceed the expectations of others. Even your haters, honey, they're there for a purpose. Even the naysayers, they're there for a purpose. All those ones that says, oh, I don't know what she thinks she's doing. They're there for a purpose. So just keep allowing them to be who they are. Long as you have been given the assignment, as long as you are walking in your purpose, as long as you know who you are in Christ Jesus, and you embrace the woman that you are, and know that you're more than enough. Set your own standard. Don't just settle for the okie doke. If you said that's not what you're gonna do, don't compromise. That goes back to when she said when she got that script and it made her sick. She said she was even going to consider taking that script. And she said, well, this is what she did. She read a few pages. It made her sick. She couldn't do it. She said the next day the director called her and she told him, I can't do it. And she said, this is what she did. She was going to compromise. She was going to compromise her standard. She said she read it out loud and recorded it. And she said she played it back to herself. And the more she heard, the more it made her sick. Do not compromise your standard. Do not lessen your standard for no one. Period. Stick to what your belief is to empower others. And then in my closing, she says legacy. She says legacy to her when Oprah asked her. She said legacy to her is whatever it has done to improve the human race. But I love when Oprah said that so many times people will ask her the same question. And our dear Maya Angelou told Oprah this, and this is her quote. Every life that has been touched by you is your legacy. So tonight, I pray that I've touched you in some type of way. I pray that you find that you are more than enough. Natural, whatever state your hair is in, whatever your size is, whatever. As long as you're there trying to do better, because no one wants to stay in the same space for 30 years, remember. Remember that you deserve more than that watch at the end of your time. Know that you are more than enough. Thank you, Dr. Hall.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Know that you are more than enough. That's what it's all about. I mean, you dropped so many nuggets, and I was taking notes. I'm gonna tell you, I used to be a really terrible people pleaser. Like I was horrible at it. And there was a moment where I was just like, I refuse. Like when you were talking about compromising, there came a moment where I just said, I refuse to ever compromise again. What was your moment? Do you have that defining moment where you were just like, I refuse to ever compromise my beliefs, myself ever again?
Well, for years I was the fixer. I had, everybody called Cassandra to do this. Everybody called Cassandra to do this. Oh, that's the lady with the 500 jobs. She knows how to do this. She knows how to do that. But when it came to being reciprocal, the well was dry. It wasn't reciprocal. And when I realized where my help truly came from, that was my awakening moment. Because it wasn't something that it was tangible that I was needing. I couldn't get it from my prayer sister. I couldn't get it from my minister leader. I couldn't get that. What I truly needed was only something that God could have given me. Because everything else, what people give you, they can take back their words, they can take back their gift, they can take back everything. But what I truly was needing was what God is doing now, and that's called healing.
Yeah. And oftentimes when we are in the state of healing, at least for me, rejection is that's my vice. That's my thing. And it's amazing. I was listening to Lakeisha Johnson. She's a minister based out of, I believe it's Arizona. I believe it's Arizona. It might be Arkansas. It's Arkansas. Incredible. And the other day she does a Bible study every single morning. And the other day she was actually talking about how rejection, and I'm paraphrasing, kind of will breed complacency. So sometimes you get complacent because you know what rejection feels like. So you get complacent in what is normal, and you're so afraid of experiencing rejection that you don't allow yourself to step outside of what is uncomfortable. And so when you were actually kind of talking a little bit about that validation, that really came back to me, just about the fact that rejection will cause us to stay stuck. We don't like it. We don't like how it feels. We don't like it when people don't validate us, and yet we seek validation from other people. We compromise, even though we hate what it feels like when we compromise, but we do it because we allow that rejection to keep us stuck. So I really enjoyed what you talked about. What do you do? What would you say to people? And then I'm about to bring Shaquan back up here. We're going to wrap things up. What do you say to people who are, they look for validation all the time? And now let's say they're in a space where they're like, I don't want to do that anymore. What advice do you have to people on how to stand on their own convictions and not seek validation from other people? Because it's hard when you've been doing that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you got to analyze yourself. Take a reflection of yourself. Do a 10-year reflection. If you're still in the same thing that you're doing 10 years ago, you don't, it's something's wrong. So first you want to do a self-reflection, because if you look at yourself and see the progress that you've made, you see how you're helping others, you see what you're building, you see the legacy you're trying to live for you ain't got time to be worried about what chick says.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stop looking at these numbers on social media, stop looking at half of the stuff on there is not even true.
Oh my God.
If somebody that can come to you and give you a word and it's validated with true scripture, that's where your validation comes from. And it's not from Cassandra. It's because Cassandra is being utilized as a vessel through the Holy Spirit to give you a word of encouragement, to help exalt you, not all the likes and the clicks of social media. No.
Yeah, no. I mean, tonight has been just really powerful, starting with, loving yourself naturally, and then turning around and talking about how there really is prosperity by being put in the fire. That has been a message that's just been resonating with preachers, honestly, all around the country. I mean, I was listening to a preacher just yesterday, and, he actually talked about, being put on the potter's wheel. And, the fact that, when the potter is ready to, and I can't say it the way that he said it, but in so many words, when it's ready to be refined and you're about to put that pottery into the wheel, you have to make sure that there aren't any blemishes or cracks or anything in there. Because if you do it like that, everything's going to fall apart. And so we didn't, I just kind of put this out there and said, okay, who wants to go on Monday? Who wants to go on Tuesday? And I just love how when God steps in, he does it well. And this was a great kickoff to 5 days of self-love. So Shaquan, I want to ask you this. What made you decide to even join the More Than Enough anthology?
Well, the title, first of all, it just jumped out at me. And it was like, girl, you need to get on this today. Okay. This is on my journey of health and wellness, which is not just my hair, but how I was eating, me recovering because I was recently in a car accident. So, all of those different things going on had me feeling a way about myself. And I've always struggled with anxiety and periodically depression on and off. And that title, I Am More Than Enough, it really spoke to me, and that I'm always helping others to realize that they are more than enough in their careers, in their future endeavors, in their businesses. But I didn't give myself that same attention. I didn't give myself that same grace, that same love, that same care. So that title, it really helped me to remind myself that yes, I may not be where I want to be exactly, but I've come so far, and that I am the daughter of the Most High King of Kings. And so, yes, I'm going to hold my head up. I don't care how I feel. And looking at myself in the mirror and say, I am, affirmation, I am more than enough.
Listen, I'm all excited. Got my mic off. You better preach on here today. Okay? I'm sitting here talking to Cassandra and telling her not to get loud in the hotel and scare people. And you're on here preaching, talking about you're the daughter of the Most High God. Like, come through. Okay? Cassandra, what is really going on? Okay? Listen, that's the truth. That is the truth. Because we really will say that. We'll say I'm part of a royal priesthood and things. We will say that, but we don't really walk in authority of what that actually means. That thing stirred me up today, honey. I said, what? What? I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Cassandra.
Yes, dear.
Oh, you're so sweet. Tell us, what made you decide to join the I Am More Than Enough anthology project?
Well, to be honest, at first, I had never heard of an anthology before. I'm just keeping it real. So when I read the title, and then we went to the first meeting, where you introduced it, it gave me an opportunity to reflect. And even after accepting, you accepting my opportunity to be a part of this, I had some triggers. I had to face some things that I thought was dead for way more than 10 years. So it was something that was needed to help heal me in an area of my life. So nothing happens by accident. So this more than enough helped heal a part of me that I thought I was past. So now that part right there, I am more than enough because I am an international bestseller.
That's it. That is it. That is it. Oh my goodness, that was such an incredible moment.
All right.
Because you all called me. Usually I'm the other one. I'm usually calling my clients because I had the privilege of doing that with Shaquan years ago. Myself and LaTanya Boyd, we called up Shaquan. Didn't we wake you up early in the morning?
Yes.
LaTanya and I, we did not care. You might have been one that got called at like midnight. We didn't care. We would call people as soon as we saw that you hit bestsellers list. It could be 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. We'd be like, we're so sorry to wake you up, but we just wanted to tell you that you're a bestseller. So that has always been so fun for me. And so this was such an incredible experience to have you guys calling me on video. And the funny thing is, I was on my way home because I had to go to the emergency room. And I'd said to you guys, hey, listen, I got to go to the emergency room. Keep me in prayer. Like, I was petrified. And I was on my way home. God was good. So, it was nothing bad that had happened, but I was exhausted. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what? I was like, who is calling me from the Facebook Messenger? Like, I was like, because I was stuck in traffic. Like, I was so annoyed. And it wasn't even about y'all. I was in the traffic. I was probably 3 minutes from home, but stuck in traffic. Like, I don't.
Wow.
it's going to take them to fix this road. But so then when I saw that, I was like, who's playing inside the group? You know? So I answered the call. And I was like, yes. And I looked a mess. And all of a sudden, everybody was like screaming. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? You know? So yeah.
I had no idea what was going on. Like, I'm at the desk, I'm talking to a client. I'm looking around like, huh? What's going on?
People screaming. Like, and so Shaquan, I was the same way. I was like, what's going on? And then I think it was Stacy. Stacy was like, you don't know? I was like, no. I was like, I haven't been on here. And then Cassandra, like you said, Cassandra's crying. Katia over in Japan hadn't gotten any sleep at all.
Wow.
Katia's up there crying. I'm like, oh my God.
Crying, talking in heavenly language and all.
Yes, it was crying, praying going on. I don't know.
I will say the sisterhood that has come from this anthology, I never anticipated that it would be like this. I mean, you hope for things like that, but that's when you know that it really is a God thing, because the sisterhood that's just formed with all of us, like there are different races here, different nationalities. We're in different countries, and just such a beautiful thing. And so, you know, Cassandra, when you talked about the crown and kind of adjusting the crown, I look at how, you know, folks in our group have experienced death. They've experienced the moments of abundance in different ways. And so we've just over the last 3 months have really connected in so many great ways. And I thank you guys so much for trusting me to be part of this process. Thank you.
Tamika, if I can,
Thank you.
If I can get you to put my the way that they can purchase the books.
Yes, that's what I needed to ask you as well. Actually, I need to add that. So, folks, once again, we are, everyone has been given the opportunity to showcase their books, and they can sell their books themselves, right? So please support the authors and purchase the paperback book directly from them. Do not purchase it from me on Amazon. I'm asking you to sow into my babies, you know, sow into my ladies, and get the book from them. Now, Cassandra and Shaquan's books, I have the link directly in the show description, but I'm getting ready to actually list the jot form. But the easiest thing for you to do right now is for you to go to that show description. Okay, that's the easiest thing for you to do. Y'all, Cassandra prayed over my computer, because God knows it is moving slow as molasses right now.
She will have a Mac computer.
All right.
Everybody wants me to get the Mac, and the problem is me. It is so me, because I just love my PC. I love my PC. I bet everybody is like blowing up my comments now. I love my PC, but I am gonna get the Mac. It's just me. I'm just like, just get the Mac, Mika. While I'm waiting for my computer to get its life together, what are the benefits of me having this Mac computer, Cassandra?
Well, first, that PC gonna die on you. It's already walking on a walker right now.
Why is everybody? They're not talking about you, boo.
You better get delivered with the Mac.
Oh, so you said I gotta go apostolic.
Apostolic.
You got apostolic. I know. I'm telling you.
I speak that over your life.
Shaquan, what are you doing? You are not supposed to be taking her side.
Receive it. That's a right now word. Receive it.
It's a right now word. All right, folks. So listen, this is the link. See, you see how my baby showed up right on time. Right on time. I am gonna get a Mac. But so the link is very long for you to just kind of look and eyeball and type it in there. So make sure that you go to the show description, the show notes, and click on that link below for Cassandra. And then for Shaquan, you can go to beyondajob.net to purchase that from her. And please, definitely connect to my ladies. Connect to them. Listen, guys, we are getting ready to get out of here. I want you to know that we're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to be here we're going to actually be here through Saturday, but we're going to be here every night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there are going to be more of the authors that are going to be coming to you. So tomorrow, we're going to be here same time, same place. And we're going to have Denise Emerson, who is the bougie boss, AM. And we also have, why did I do that? That was not very doctor-like, was it? You know, and I've had Cassandra calling me Dr. Hall and Shaquan calling me Dr. Hall and stuff, and I just did that. That was not cute. Okay. So tomorrow, we're going to be here at the same time, same place. We have the bougie boss, known as Denise Emerson, and we have Robin Sample. Okay, so both of them are going to be here, and we're going to be featuring the music from Shay Sams on tomorrow. So you guys already know what the tagline is. Remember that I love you. You were created to make God famous, and you all have a blessed night.